Thank you. I see that all our speakers have hazard, so I believe that we will be able to discuss the results of your research in an organized and efficient manner at this final session. I invite to speak Olena Pyatikop with result you research digital technologies for conducting dictations in Ukrainian. Are you ready? Olena, are you ready? Turn on microphone, please.
Good afternoon. Today I will present our research instead of Olena Petikop.
Okay, start you present.
Yes, now 1 second, please.
I don't see present. Okay. Okay, start please.
Now do you see?
I see you present.
Okay, once more time, good afternoon. My name is Ludmila Kotlihova. Yeah, okay. I'm assistant of computer science department of Prezovsky State Technical University, Dnipro, Mariupol. I'm very glad to take part of this conference, and today, together with my colleague Olena Petikop and Olga Pronina, we offer a report on the topic digital technologies for conducting dictations in Ukrainian. The Ukrainian educational system already has the experience of using distance education during the coronavirus pandemic. The use of this experience now, during a full scale war, becomes especially relevant and very important. Many educational institutions are forced to work remotely, which affects the quality of learning materials by students. However, conducting online training makes it difficult to perform certain types of work that were every day for the usual training format. Dictation is a teaching method for practice. Its essence for students is that words, sentences are perceived by ear in the recording. This is one of the most effective forms of work. It contributes to the formation of punctual skills, the development of strong spelling skills, as well as the consolidation of knowledge of grammar, vocabulary, and phonetics. To conduct such dictation is in online format. It's possible to use a speech synthesizer that translates the written text into oral. That is, it reads the text instead of the teacher. Therefore, the purpose of our work is digital transformation, the organization of conducting and checking dictations during distance learning, and, for example, for self-training of students. To do this, the problem of developing a training system for conducting and checking dictation is solved. This system is based on the use of language, synthesis tools, and methods for measuring the similarity of text documents to search for errors in our text of the dictation. We analyzed the publication of various authors. Examples you can see on the slide. More details can be found in our article. Thus, the level of development of digital technologies for solving the problem of speech reproduction is quite high. Therefore, existing technology for speech synthesis can be used. We need to choose the best one software for plain Ukrainian text and to check the text of the dictation for the correct spelling. It was decided to use our own approach. To select a library that will voice the text for the student, it was decided to use the expert assessment method. The expert will have to evaluate the parameters on a quantitative scale in the range from 1 to 10. Then it's necessary to build a final group assessment. For this, it was decided to use the average value. The expert methods also uses a weightings coefficient. The method is described in more details in our article. Um, it was chosen three libraries of language synthesizer where, for example, it was Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. For each library, the method of experts was applied. These tables are shown in our article, and the final tables are shown on this slide. Thus, according for our experts, with the help of calculation, it can be concluded that it's better to use a Google library in our work because it scored about 7.8 points. Following was Amazon with 7.7 points, and the last one was Microsoft with 4.8 points. The main points of the method for assessing the similarity of two texts are shown on the slide. A more detailed description is given in our article. It is the best if the assignment of the weight of each operation is adjusted for the letter. Since if the student forgot about doubling the letters at the root of the word, this is a spelling mistake, and the weight should be higher than if the student forgot to add the last letter in the word. This method can chosen because when checking dictation, different spellings of word are possible according to the number of letters, and this method works qualitatively with different line lengths. Unlike the metric for calculating the humming distance, where if the student skip a letter or writes an extra one, and the length of the word are comparison indifferent. These methods will not work. This is also a modification of this method, which called Levenstein-Demeraux distance. This method was not considered because the difference from the classical one is adding a transposition is it's the replacement of two characters in places. Due to the specific of our task, checking dictation, it was decided that this method is not suitable. Since the permutation of characters is a variant of the errors and is considered as a replacement of letters. The remaining methods for the task at hand are redundant and not suitable. To implement the prototype of the training system for conducting and checking dictation, the following conditions were determined. First of all, the need to work with a file containing at least 500 characters. The program must have a text-to-speech process for dictation. It's necessary to have such opportunities as stopping and turning on text playback, the ability to select various libraries for the synthesis of the language, to select a convenient one for a particular person, the ability to check the text, compare with the original and display them on the screen, and conclusion for the analysis of the results of written dictation, such as, for example, the number of words written in total, the number of punctual marks, and the number of errors, as well as highlighting errors in our text. To develop the program, libraries were used to create the user interface Windows Forms and .NET framework, and the module itself was written in high-level C# programming language. The example of our prototype you can see on this slide. Checking defects in practice in the calculated form is given in this table. When comparing the results of the dictation with the original, the following types of errors were considered. First one, detection of spelling errors. It works well, highlights the word with an error in red in the original text to draw attention for the student to the correct spelling and not taking into account the error. Displays the number of errors is in output. The only negative is that it does not show the number of errors in one word, but it only shows that there is some errors in one word. The second one, skipping punctual marks, works well. All characters are highlighted in yellow in both texts so that the student can see for himself where was mistake. In the output, it displays fewer words that punctual marks than necessary. Third one, extra punctual marks works well. All characters are highlighted in yellow in both texts, like in previous, so students can see by themselves where was the mistake. In the output, it displays more words than it should be. Written all words in lowercase letters works well, highlights only words that require capitalization, considered this an error. Written all words in capital letters works well, highlights all words, considering this an error because it's not clear whether the student correctly understood the spelling of words with capital letters or not. Use of unnecessary space works well. It doesn't pay attention to it because it doesn't matter how many of extra spaces was used because it's not like we don't need to think that it's like mistake. And the last one, the use of special characters. It's impossible to determine the correction of the work since from the point of view of the program, two words are compared, and then the word includes and unnecessary letters or sign. It's an error. If the special characters is separated from the word, then this is not perceived as an error. The output displays more words. And let's tell about conclusions. Previously, dictation were an integral part of any language learning and learning for better memorization of words and spelling. But at this stage of our life, due to various external reasons, education is often forced to be distance learning. Under these conditions, it becomes more difficult to carry out this type of work, so the written dictation almost ceased to exist. Also, this is very effective form of work. The development of information technology makes it possible to create some software for automation the process of conducting dictations. As a result of this research, the libraries of speech synthesizers Microsoft, Google, Amazon for the Ukrainian language were evaluated by the expert methods. Based on these results, the Google library receives the best scores. In our paper, we propose a method for assessing the similarity of two texts, which is further used to be development of this program. A prototype of a program has been developed that performs the pronunciation of the text and the subsequent verification of the text type by the use with the original one. The conducted testing for different types of errors shows the possibility and expediency of developing a system for conducting and checking dictations. And the use of such programs will help improve the organization of conducting and checking dictations in online learning and in some cases with self-training for students. Now it's all. Thank for your attention.
Thank you for your report. Please answer the participants' questions. Olga Pinchuk write, have you or your co-presents compared your development with other similar products, maybe in Ukrainian, maybe in other language? What is special about your product?
Thank for your questions. Yes, we were looking for several programs which will help to solve the same problem as we have. But now Ukrainian language was not very popular, so it was not possible to find something especially for using dictation in Ukrainian language. So it's almost like for some language which is quite similar to Ukrainian, for example, like Russian, but not for Ukrainian itself. So we decided to create such kind of prototype for program which will be used especially for Ukrainians.
Okay, next question, Andrei Morozov.
What other dictation language could be programmed in your application?
Thanks for your question. Now, as I said, it works only for Ukrainian language, but if we will develop it a little bit, it can be used for different kind of languages. We need one more time to choose type of synthesizer for language. We need to choose when we will know which language we want to develop in this program. We will be able to choose some kind of synthesizers which will be the better one, and then we need to develop a little bit our prototype. If the letters in those language will be different from Ukrainian,
That's all.
for
Thank you.
example, like now in Ukrainian we use for our program like apostrophe, so maybe if it will be in other language, we need to remove this part. Extra characters, maybe some special characters for different types of languages.
Okay, thank you. The next report on the topic, the preparation and defense of qualification books in the context of the digitalization of higher education, will be presented by Andrei Morozov. Andrei, are you ready? Okay.
Yes. Good morning, dear colleagues. Let us present our research on the topic the procedure for the preparation and defense of qualification works in the context of the digital transformation of higher education. Authors Andrei Morozov, Tatiana Vakaluk, Igor Tolstoy, Yuri Kubrak, and Mikhailo Medvedev. The last few years in Ukraine have contributed to the rapid digital transformation of all forms of education. Higher education is no exception. In higher education institutions, unlike general secondary education institutions, several processes were conducted exclusively in person. However, the situation in which Ukraine has found itself since February 2022 has also contributed to the development of digitalization of all processes in higher education. For example, higher education institutions have such forms of control as course design, diploma design, various types of internships, etc. In this context, the issue of digital transformation of diploma design is the most relevant, since explanatory notes to qualification works must be kept at the university upon graduation and go through several stages to be allowed to defend. Therefore, it was decided to bring the preparation for the defense of diploma design to a new level through digital transformation in the context of martial law. Based on the legislation of Ukraine, in 2022, Zhytomyr Polytechnic issued an order to experiment with the use of the digital documents and electronic signatures during the diploma design and defense of qualification works in the specialty software engineering. Next slide. As a part of the digital transformation of all education processes at Zhytomyr Polytechnic State University, an information system was developed to include a module responsible for the diploma design process, from the acceptance of papers for the defense to the actual defense. The digitalization of the diploma design process makes it possible to scientifically increase the efficiency of the process of writing a qualification work, switch to electronic documents, and eliminate the need to use paper copies of documents. Speed up communication between all participants in this process, relevant potential corruption, and organize the effective work of the examination commission during defenses. And the most important advantage provided by the proposed approach and the developed software product is to provide a real possibility of remote defense of qualification works in conditions where the higher education student, supervisor, reviewer, chairman, and members of the examination commission are in different places and communicate using internet and have the opportunity to familiarize themselves and work with documents, graduation works, review, feedback, certificate of verification of work for borrowing, etc. All documents are signed with electronic signatures and uploaded to the information system Zhytomyr Polytechnic portal, which allows for organize an electronic repository of qualification works together with related documents. Next slide. Ah, it, it was entering the composition of the examination commission, and for each higher education student, the topic of qualification work, supervisor, and reviewer in this slide. Next slide. In this slide, you can see the view on the page for viewing the list of qualification works by the Secretary of the Examination Commission. It is possible to select the specialty and education program, education degree, and date of graduation of higher education applicants. After the Secretary of Examination Commission adds the initial information, the relevant higher education student, supervisor, and reviewer members of Examination Commission have access to the qualification papers module. There are 8 stages for each paper: uploading a qualification paper for supervisor review, qualification work for approval by the head of the department, qualification work for checking for borrowing, preparing a review and feedback of the work, obtaining admission to the defense, the work is admitted to the defense, and completed education. At each stage, the following roles of the subjects of the educational process are envisaged. Higher education applicants can upload the qualification works, can withdraw it for revision, can view all documents that will be attached at each stage. Supervisor can review the qualification work, has the opportunity to send it back for revision, noting deficiencies, or sign the work and submit it to next stage. Prepares and signs a review of the qualification work. Supervisor has the opportunity to review all documents related to the qualification works. Head of the department can view the general list of higher education students and the stage of each qualification work. Uh, Head of the department has access to view all qualification works and all documents. For each work that is approved by the head, can put his her electronic signature or send the work for revision, noting the shortcomings. The employee responsible for checking the work with anti-plagiarism systems can upload the qualification work file to the specialized software used by higher education institution to check qualification works for borrowing, generates and uploads borrowing certificates to the information system, has the opportunity to return qualification work for revision in case of non-compliance with regulatory documents. A reviewer can review qualification papers and other documents and download the review file and sign by electronic signature. Secretary of the Examination Commission has full access to view all documents of each qualification works. He enters information about the supervisor, viewer, and topics of qualification works into information systems. Checks documents and admits to the defense, enters information about date, time, place of defense into the information system. He enters information about the grade received by the applicant in the defense. An employee of examination commission has the opportunity to view qualification works that are allowed for defense and all accompanying documents. At the first stage of the process, the higher education applicants uploads qualification work which is signed with electronic signature, so though a personal electronic account. Next, the qualification work is submitted to the supervisor for consideration. At this stage, the higher education applicant is displayed information message about the need to wait for decision of the work supervisor. The applicant can also withdraw the work and return to the previous stage, uploading qualification work. Uh, for the uh, for the supervisor of the work in the information system, the main page and left menu displays the number of tasks that are waiting for review and feedback. For con- convenience, convenience, the number for supervisor in the left menu are displayed in different colors. The number of tasks pending reviews is in red, and the number of tasks for writing a review is in orange. By clicking on the corresponding menu item, the list of tasks assigned to the supervisor will be displayed. If this user also has other roles, they will also see information about number of pending tasks. After selecting the qualification work, you will be taken to a page that displays general information about the work and learning outcomes of the higher education applicant, including grades for the period of study and summary statistics of tests and exams. For the convenience of viewing the qualification work and stages, the accompanying documents, it is possible to view each document directly in the browser, and the ability to download the document by clicking on the appropriate button. At the bottom of the window, a panel is displayed that allows you to notify the higher education student and record the decision made by the supervisor of qualification work in the information system. If the work meets all the requirements, the supervisor must sign it with electronic signature, upload the file to the appropriate form, and click on the button to transfer the work to the next stage. If the work contains deficiencies and needs to be reviewed, the supervisor must describe them in the appropriate form and click on the button to return the work to the applicant for revision. After that, applicant will see a notification in the electronic cabinet and will be able to download a new will be able to upload a new version of qualification work. If the supervisor approves the work, it is transferred to the next stage, approval to the head of the department. At this stage, the head of the department has two options. The first option is to approve the work, sign it with electronic signature, and submit it to the next stage. The second option is to return the work for revision to the higher education student with an message for uh, message with errors. If the head of department has passed the work to the next stage, the work is placed in the queue for checking for borrowings. At this stage, the responsible person uses a special software product to analyze the content of the qualification word for borrowing from other sources. If borrowings are found, the amount and sources of each borrowing are determined. The information is formalized in the form of two certificates. The first certificate is a certificate generated in the software product used for verification. The second certificate is a conclusion on the compliance of the work with the internal regulation of the higher education institution and the legislation in general. Each document is electronically signed and uploaded to the information system, which allows all participants in the process of preparing and defending a qualification work to work with document as official. In the qualification work is found to be inconsistent with the regulatory framework and or legislation, the work is returned to the higher education applicant for revision and must go through all the previous stages, starting from the first one. If the work is found to completely, it proceeds to the next stage preparation of supervisor feedback and writing a review by the reviewer. For the supervisor and the reviewer, forms have been forms have been implemented that they must fill out in the information system. After filling out the forms, it is possible to generate PDF version of the feedback and review, which must be downloaded and signed with an electronic signature and uploaded to the information system. After generating and uploading the signed feedback and review to the information system, the work proceeds to the next stage, obtaining admission to the defense. At this stage, the Secretary of the Examination Commission checks the conditions for obtaining admissions to the defense. If the applicant cannot be admitted to the defense, the reason is indicated in the appropriate fields of the form. If a higher education student is admitted to the defense, the secretary must additionally fill in the field that indicated the date and time of the defense, the link for online connection, or the place of the defense. Upon completion of the defense, the Secretary of the Examination Commission enters the grade received by higher education student in the appropriate field in the information system. Using the proposed information system model during 2022-2023, 148 bachelor's degree and 31 master's degree students had defended qualification works in the specialty software engineering. In general, or all participants in the process of preparing and defense qualification works were able to obtain electronic signature through internet banking systems or the state tax service and use them to sign documents. At the same time, in the process of implementing this model of the information system, some problematic issues were identified. The need to conduct training and consultation on the use of electronic signatures for students and teaching staff. The difficulty of obtaining electronic signatures in Ukraine for foreign applicants. Depends on the internet connection. In case of loss of connection, it is possible to access electronic documents. The approach to the preparation and defense qualification papers, the advantages provided by the digitalization of this process proposed and implemented at the Zhytomyr Polytechnic State University was tested and showed uh, improvement in the quality of both qualification papers and accompanying documents. Thank you for attention.
Thank you. Very interesting report. And please answer the participant questions in text chat
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
by three questions, and other participants, please say and write your questions in text chat.
Thank you for the question. Is it possible to use DIA signature to sign works? Yes. Uh, Participants of the education process can use both the DIA website and the DIA signature service to sign qualification papers and other documents. Yes. Second question. It is planned to use this approach for other majors beside software engineering. Mm, During the last 2 years, this approach was tested in the specialty software engineering. In 2023, defenses of bachelor's thesis in the specialty computer science uh, were held. In the summer of 2024, defenses are planned for all specialties of the Faculty of Information and Computer Technologies and some specialties of other faculties. What are the future prospects for the development of your approach? Uh, in the future, we will planning uh, digitalization other process such as select supervisors and choosing the terms of the graduation works and implement into development and presented model of the our information system. Uh, Olga Pinchuk uh, have has some questions. Are you aware of similar developments in other university, Ukraine, foreign? We choose similar systems for defense graduation works with electronic signatures, uh, but systems, complex systems, we don't view. Did you have support from the university management to introduce such an innovation? Uh, which one? Yes, I am a vice rector of the university, and I implement that approach in my chair. Mm, I am a docent of the software engineering department, and we tested our systems in this department. This department and generally planned to implement innovation approach in our university. Tatiana Vakolyuk is a head of the department, and we implement this system.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Okay. And finally, the The final report of our workshop on methodological aspects of studying artificial intelligence by future teachers, which will be presented by Natalia Kushnir. Natalia, are you ready?
Yeah.
Start the presentation,
Yes.
please.
Uh, Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Professor Natalia Valko and I, Natalia Kushnir, pleased to welcome all participants of conference. And today we will present our research, the topic methodical aspects of study artificial intelligence by future teachers. Uh, in 2017, AlphaZero, powered by machine learning, defeated chess-playing computer programs that relied on established starting database and endgame tables. This was the beginning of a real AI boom. Until 2017, the field of artificial intelligence was considered just entertainment, a field of research and illiquid investments. However, since that moment, most innovative startups have recognized the full potential and prospects of using such technologies. Research from Stanford's Department of Artificial Intelligence indicated that private capital investments in the field grew several fold during the period of 2019 2020. This demonstrated that business were willing to invest money in these sectors and consequently expected substantial returns. It is worth noting that the interest is transforming from an intriguing toy capable of altering photos and voices. AI has transitioned into a category of tools that generate profits and minimize expenses. For the general public, it may currently appear as a disappointment, as AI does not know how to perform certain tasks well or at all. However, one of the largest technology exhibitions, Hannover Messe 2023, showcased that artificial intelligence is already a common phenomenon in their present products, machines, mechanisms, and concepts. The current challenge is to identify the problems that AI can solve. Marketing, market access, management, and business models are all crucial aspects needed for the development of AI applications at this stage. Research in the field of artificial intelligence has been focused on understanding its positive and negative effects. In order to mitigate potential harm caused by AI, UNESCO developed recommendations on AI ethics in 2021. These recommendations address ethical considerations and also emphasize the discussion of using AI to achieve sensible development goal for quality education. In 2021, the European Union launched an innovative tool regulate AI. But after the popularization of ChatGPT, project was accepted in 2023, which will form the basis of the future law of the rules for the regulating artificial intelligence. Building towards AI will create a safe and innovative friendly environment for users, developers, and deployers. The Commission has proposed three interlinked legal initiatives that will contribute to building trusty AI. A European legal framework for AI to address fundamental risks and safety risk specific to the AI systems. a civil liability framework, adapting liability rules to digital age and AI, revisions of sectoral safety legislation, for example, machinery regulation, general product safety directive. Uh, Researchers note that of list for now, AI cannot replace human creativity and critical thinking, and it is through these advantages that higher education thrives. However, universities need to consider the current state, the technological development, especially in areas such as AI, which already significantly impact the economy and social aspects of society. In the process of education, students use service based on the use of artificial intelligence. Higher education institutions take one of two approaches to the questions of students' use of AI. First, prohibit students from using AI. Second, attempt to regulate the process of AI use. For instance, in one of the institutions during the assessments, students attempt to use AI. The examination revealed there for the time being, this is not a widespread occurrence. However, the following measures were taken. Informing instructors. Educators were informed about potential cheating attempts involving AI. Establishing clear rules. Clear protocols were established for how the institution and teachers should handle this issue, particularly from a legal standpoint. As one of the strategies during knowledge evaluations conducted through oral uh, interviews, the overall time allocated for presenting a topic and the time for the questions answers were increased. Among the main issues and ethical consequences of using ChatGPT in higher education, researchers identified the following: academic integrity, lack of regulations, confidentiality, cognitive bias, gender and diversity, sensibility, and commercialization. However, in our point, familiarizing students with the possibilities of AI for their future professions, mastering new tools, understanding their advantages and disadvantages, and comprehending the trends of human development can significantly enhance the competitiveness of your professionals on the job market. Today, there is a wide range of AI-based services that can be used in educations. For example, clear instructions help students learn to use ChatGPT for easy writing. Margarita Kaluzhna suggests the following steps for students. Start with a clear topic, provide additional details, ask specific questions, use keywords, and check grammar and spelling. Students are particularly interested in AI services that work with image. When working with such services, students can explore how the formulation of request prompt affects their generated image. Other possible tasks could include creating a plan, designing a logo, creating a movie poster, designing an interface, or providing a list of references in their specific format. These interactive tasks, students develop skills in using AI effectively and safely. The formulation task and educational materials for students work with AI models should adhere to the principles outlined in the recommendations of the Council on Artificial Intelligence. Inclusive growth, sustainable development, and well-being formulated tasks should address socially significant problems and contribute to achieving the sustainable development goals. Human-centered values and awareness. Predictions, recommendations, or decisions of AI models in their formulated tasks should be evaluated for their support of vulnerable population, reducing gender and economic inequality, and addressing social needs. Transparency and explainability. The formulated tasks should promote the general understanding of how AI models work, critical interpretations of results, and the ability to improve AI models, predictions, recommendations, or decisions based on the clear understanding of their function mechanisms. Additionally, considering self-security and the protections of rights, for example, creating a model for personal hiring assistance that may lead to selectivity based on gender or racial indicators. Robustness, security, and safety. Uh, their constructed models should be analyzed to determine the safety for humans throughout their in, entire life cycle. Models uh, models created should be tested and analyzed for data confidentiality, digital security, and basis related to socially significant issues. Accountability. The development of AI models, even for educational purposes, should consider the establishment of rules that define the responsibility of participants for the proper functioning of the system. These rules can include guidelines for AI communications, system uh, maintenance, data handling, and security. Professor Valko will continue.
Natalia, turn on microphone, please. Turn on microphone, Natalia Valko.
Mhm.
Okay,
Sorry.
and restart presentation. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. We consider strength preparation of future teacher in this area to be particularly important because only a teacher who possesses these skills can effectively and softly teach students how to use AI. Today, universities have the opportunity to offer students the ability to shape their personal learning trajectory, including throughout the choice of topics for coursework, finally, projects and elective courses. Additionally, the fundamentals of AI can be incorporated into certain teacher education programs. We developed the course introducing to studying the basics of AI This course is designed for students who are future teachers and current practicing educators. Its objective is to foster teachers' awareness of AI technology, and its underlying principles promote effective, conscious, and responsible to use of AI platforms and facilitate the acquisition of skills for working with the resource and tools provided by these platforms. The course consists of two modules, fundamental concepts of AI development and content creation using AI. The topics covered in the course are outlined in the following table. The actually of the first module is gamificate. Non-computer tasks can be used for classification, probability assessment, and analyzing part of images from the natural networks. Perspective addressing issues like bias in algorithms, transparency in discussion making, and ensuring that AI services the great good. The several terms of this model is statistic encompassing concepts like regression, coefficients of uncentrally, various forms of variability analysis. An alternative activity could involve discussion of creating startups concepts using AI or protected-based activities supporting the global goals of sustainability development. The second module involves empirical activities. Future teacher not only learn to generative results, but also analyze the obtained outcomes. Significantly, attention is drawn to the core data sets headlining stages, data classification, boundary conditions, anomaly detection, and correction. Analysis of results is conducted based on this stage. The cycling nature of this model is due to the similarity in algorithm usage with generative AI programs. The activities within each topics are structured according to the specialist algorithm. Many cases studied tend to use the terms machine learning and artificial intelligence integrability. However, the modern approach distinguishes between these two concepts. Machine learning involves making prediction and provide recommendation, while artificial intelligence makes decisions and take action based on those predictions and recommendation. Therefore, the concept of artificial intelligence is broad and encompasses other related concepts. The nature of data affects the results, depend on the characteristic of the data. Corresponding outcomes can be expected. Therefore, when introducing studies of AI models and formulating tasks, attention should be paid to data labeling, providing keywords that describe the data and information about the content of images. The data unknown will determine how AI provides you queries, and the generated results will be based on the set of keywords. Data balance representative on a certain concepts is important. The platform may not be aware of certain terms, names, or characteristics specific to a race, gender, culture, or a nationality. For example, when querying Kotigoroshko or Ivasik Telesik, the results maybe not resemble familiar images or text. Model orientation towards specific text. A text generation platform will not guarantee images, and general purpose platforms may not provide expect answers to legal queries. A platform built on contemporary text may not generative text in the style of a different era. Data control and censorship. The topic of AI ethic is relevant. Negative expression from previous developments have led to elimination and generative text and images. AI platform will avoid generative content relative to topics such as war, violence, disputes, hate speech, and more. An example, let's consider one of the tasks using the artificial intelligence builder called Teachable Machine by Google. This builder can be used in practical session for the creating your own neural networks for image, sound, or motion recognition. The process of building the network consists of three stages. Getting data, this involves classified data into different categories. For example, if we want to recognize different parts of a plant, we can use three categories: leaves, stem, and flower. When we then fill up the categories with data symbols. Second, training. This process is performed using Google's algorithms, and the user's task is to select specific training parameters. Third, recognition. The step involves using the training network new data that was not included in the classified data sets is inputted, and the network determinate the category of which the input belongs. The following images show the results of a network training to recognize leaves, stems, and flowers. In the first image, the network identifies the image as a flower with high probability. However, there is also considerable probability that is a leaf. If we example in the data set label it as leaf, we will find similar images in terms of type and color palette. Therefore, the recognition results as a leaf is a cute high. In the next image, an input images is provided that cannot be classified into any of given categories, leaves, stem, or flower. The network is unaware of this. It was only being trained on a symbol from the provided categories. Therefore, it looks for the closest match of the image. A similar image is found in the stem category, color palette, elongate object. As a result, the network recognizes the image as a stem with high probability. There's also objects within the flower category that have similar features for the network partially recognize the object a flower as well. This example illustrates the importance of the mentoring characteristic: data balance, data cleanings, data labeling, and data orientation towards a specific task. Recommendation regarding in the integration of AI into the educational process of future teachers. makes changes to the regulatory document on institutional higher education that regulates the process of ensuring the quality of education and include educational components that acquaint students with issues of academic integrity. Develop recommendations for the use of AI in educational activities, provide explanation of situation where and how AI can contribute to achievements of learning outcomes. To promote the professional development of university teachers regarding the possibility of using AI in the educational process. This includes familiarization with the methods and tools for identify the use of AI in students' work. The use of artificial intelligence has become an integral part of almost every aspect of our society. While the debate continues about the benefits and dangers of artificial intelligence, the younger generation is increasingly starting to use AI-based service. Therefore, teachers play a critical role in building all the necessary components if in the young people as they understand the advantages and disadvantages of new technologies, in particular artificial intelligence. In our opinion, such courses must familiarize students with the basic concepts and principle of AI as a stage of learning AI and ethical issues related to its use. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Have a questions, please?
I have a question.
Please.
I have two questions. Thank you for interesting report, and I ask you that question. When creating the IE study program, were existing program taken into account? And the second question is, have you measured the effectiveness of this program? Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. I can answer. Scientists and teachers in Ukraine enthusiastically conduct research in the field of artificial intelligence. Of particular interest to us are the educational courses on artificial intelligence for middle school students, high school students, and for teacher development by Sergei Dzyuba. This is teacher from Kiev, and Margarita Kalyuzhna. Today there are various short-term professional development courses available for teachers. So these courses covering topics related to the safety and use artificial intelligence in educational activities or educational process. Among the university research efforts, we found Vitaly Mokin, who works in Vinnytsia State Technical University. This is the interesting, very interesting for me. And we analyzed international courses, for example, developed by Google and NASA.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Uh,
Any questions? That's all. I am very happy to thank everyone for the interesting research and presentation. Today, during the workshop, we listened to the results of 16 different and very interesting studies. I hope that everyone received new and interesting information. We look forward to your new research at our next workshop. I wish everyone a good, safe future. Glory to Ukraine! Героям слава, правильно. Я ж кажу, слава Україні, шановні панове.
Героям слава.
Да, Танечка,
Перемикатися.
запис. Ну що, шановні, радий всіх був бачити, радий був всіх заслухати. Всі, хто дожив, всі молодці. До наступних зустрічей.
Дякуємо вам.
Мені подобається.
Дякуємо за організацію цього воркшопу. Дякуємо. Дуже цікаво було.
Да, всім дякуємо за участь. Уже не під запис, можна і в кінці української мови.
Так.
Всім успіху і натхнення.
Всім
Бережіть себе.
успіху, всіх будемо інформувати про нові заходи і так само про рішення щодо друку наших результатів цього воркшопу і термінів. На все добре. До побачення.
Дякую.
До побачення.
До побачення.
До побачення.